Welcome to Ear Swap. This is our breakup series we got rolling in through here.
We're not breaking up. The show's still going on.
Yeah,
we're talking about breakup albums.
Yeah, breakup albums. We'll let you know the next one at the end of this episode.
I think we already talked about it, but that's fine.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. You'll remember.
You'll remember.
That's fine.
Hope you all enjoyed the Tool Undertow album episode. That was a fun one.
It was. I don't even remember what
Wearing my girlfriend's attire.
Always.
This is actually mine.
Oh,
this is my old man shirt that I got for free.
Nice.
And it's pretty sick. And you're in a Me Without You shirt. Very on brand.
I also spilled something on it.
Dude, you're the best at spilling shit on your shirts.
Dude, it's like genetic. My grandpa ketchup all over him.
Genetic, huh?
Yeah.
You think that's like a genetic thing?
My dad does it too. So
do you
maybe
like
I learned it. Maybe it's not
learned behavior.
It could be learned behavior.
Maybe we consider that genetic. Do you have a lot of crumbs after you eat?
Crumbs?
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm eating.
Yeah, because like my dad's horrible about that.
I do okay with crumb management, I feel like.
Good crumb manager?
It's more like...
Cum manager?
If I'm eating something sloppy. Like I had enchiladas for dinner. Not that that has anything to do with this, but...
But it wasn't. Oh. Yeah, well, it's saucy.
I mean, it is saucy.
You get something saucy,
if
it's going to end up
saucy,
on your shirt.
Yeah. And if I'm eating in bed, which I'm bad about.
You eat in bed, huh? I don't do that.
All the freaking time I eat in bed.
So you get crumbs in your bed.
I'm not like tucked into bed. And then
you're just kind of like sitting
on it. Yeah.
I never do that.
Yeah.
I should. Maybe I start doing that.
Start eating in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New year, new me. Eat in bed.
All right. What are we talking about this time? We're talking about the album Midnight Organ Fight by Frightened Rabbit.
Yeah. It's very scared, that rabbit. Bugs Bunny. Huh? Yeah. Bugs Bunny, the rabbit.
The wabbit.
The wabbit. Yeah. So you threw this one at me.
Threw it at you.
This is a very, seems to me, on-brand album for you, Chayne.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I was like, this sounds like something Chayne would definitely listen to.
Yeah, it's sad as fuck. It's really sad.
No, it is. It is very sad. Man, it made me sad. I actually was listening to it right before you got here. And
got you nice and depressed for the episode.
Yeah, it put me in a funk, man. Heartbreak's a bitch, you know.
Yeah. Wait till you hear about his life.
Oh yeah, I haven't delved into any of that.
Oh, don't worry, I got you covered.
Thank you.
So let's start with the name of the band.
Frightened Rabbit.
Frightened Rabbit. It was, I believe, he started using that as a name when he started playing solo music, which eventually turned into the band.
Classic. The Foo Fighters way.
Yeah, but his mom would always refer to him as a little frightened rabbit because he was very shy as a child.
Oh.
So he started using that.
Oh, that's a good origin.
It is, yeah.
I thought it was going to be Bugs Bunny related, but I guess it's not.
So Frightened Rabbit, they were a band. This is their second album, Midnight Organ Fight.
Would you say it's the most popular album they have?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't actually checked. Yeah, it's on their popular releases. It's the first one I found from them, so it's like
it's hard to gauge.
Iconic in my head for that. So yeah, he started this band. His brother Grant also played it. Scott Hutchinson and Grant Hutchison.
The old Naked Brothers band.
The old Naked Brothers band.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks, Scott.
They also played at one time or another with Billy Kennedy, Andy Monaghan. They're Scottish, so I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
Scots, man. Is this the first Scottish band we've had on here?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
okay.
Simon Little, Gordon Skeen were also the members of these bands.
Okay.
At various times. I don't really want to dig through.
But this is just a 3-piece for this record.
I believe that's
Scott, Grant, and Billy Kennedy.
I'm sure they brought in some other people at times. Maybe not. Maybe they just did everything together. I didn't do my homework, so
they could. That's what I'm being told by the person in my ear. It says 3-piece.
3-piece.
Excellent. Does not sound like a 3-piece though on the record. Sounds like a lot more than that.
It is a very full.
Sounds like a SlipKnot album.
Okay.
9-piece personnel.
I don't know if it sounds like SlipKnot to me, but
no, it doesn't sound like SlipKnot at all.
Okay, so what are your before I start jabbering on more about the band, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a breakup album, and it's very apparent in the lyrics. I don't think they're very full of metaphor. It doesn't feel like.
No, he doesn't really.
He doesn't. I like
mean,
that.
he does in some of his stuff. He writes a metaphor, but he's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's metaphors, but they're very straightforward metaphors.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I liked it. A lot of 3/4 time signature in this album too.
Yep.
The song "I Feel Better" is probably my favorite.
I Feel Better is great.
"I Feel Better" is very good. "Keep Yourself Warm" is a good one.
Keep Yourself Warm. That's somehow the most popular song on the record. I'm guessing it got used in a TV show or something.
Could have been, or the lyrics are pretty pretty gnarly on that one, I'd say.
Yeah, it takes more than fucking someone you don't know to keep yourself warm. You can't find love in a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Good Arms versus Bad Arms a lot.
That is a really good.
And My Backwards Walk is very good. Poke, Floating in the Fourth. I picked this record, so of course I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have a couple interludes. They have Bright Pink, Bookmark, and Extra Super Very.
Which this came out in 2008.
Yeah.
It's very a 2008 thing to do.
Yeah.
So.
I've never done an interlude on an album.
No, I mean, they're kind of out of style right now. So
man, we should bring it back.
Could bring it back.
Actually, I know someone who's doing that on an album right now.
Okay.
He's doing a couple interludes.
Is it someone we know?
Yeah.
Is it Connor?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Sorry for the sidebar about Connor. I love that boy. His music taste makes no fucking sense because he's younger than you, right?
No, we're the same age.
Oh, you're same age.
Yeah.
But he'll pull out bands that like only people that were listening to music only off of MySpace when it was still a thing know about.
Yeah.
Like he has all this knowledge for bands like that were way before his time. So it's weird.
It's really hilarious. But like, oh yeah, this thing's like, oh yeah, love that record.
Love that record.
Like, it's just
he asked me. It was like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, I picked Frightened Rabbit. And he was like, oh, which one? I was like, Midnight Organ Fight. And he was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I thought it was a really good album. It's very cohesive. 100% cohesive, I'd say.
For sure.
I would even the interludes and everything. I was like, yeah, makes sense. I listened to this album a few times, and it was first time I listened to it. Man, it took me a while to kind of get used to it. I suppose I was like, yeah, these guys are definitely from Europe somewhere. I just learned they're Scottish, which makes all the sense because you can hear it in the vocals. But yeah, I Feel Better. Even upon first listen, I was like, yeah, that's a really cool drum beat. I loved it. And there's a lot of talk of drinking on this album, you know, drinking your sorrows away and kind of shit.
Scottish.
Yeah, man. Real tough shit.
So they had one full-length sort of album for this, which was Sing the Grays. I'm pretty sure that was just a bunch of like EPs and singles that they like formed into a record. So it doesn't have that cohesive sound to it so much. It's good. But this was their first album where they were really hitting their stride as a band. Then they released a few more. For some reason, Spotify's got them all out of order. But
hey, what the fuck's up, Spotify?
Yeah, what's up, Spotify? So, breakup album, very much so. Do you have anything that stood out to you about it being specifically a breakup album?
Man, I mean, Keep Yourself Warm was like one that I was like, oh God, that's like someone who's really bitter at an ex. It sounds like, or even yourself too. You know, like it could even come down to like your personal self with that song. I think it sounds like a real big battle in his head. You know, of like wanting love, but constantly fucking up either on his own accord or the other person's, or sometimes it just doesn't fucking work, you know? And it's definitely plays that like mind game battle of like what's worth fighting for and what's not, you know, what am I willing to compromise with and what's just not cool with me, you know? And I felt like I could really feel that in this album, which felt really, really authentic. You know, it came across very authentic, even with the ugly thoughts, too. Like, I like that it put out the ugly thoughts of stuff. Yeah.
And Scott Hutchison definitely had a lot of the ugly thoughts. He's very vulnerable and open, which I think is the biggest driver to this record.
Yeah.
What it feels like. Because, like, I discovered this band after a nasty fucking breakup.
Oh.
And the first song I heard was The Modern Leper.
Oh.
And that's how I felt. I was heavily depressed.
Yeah.
And listening to this whole record, it's like I felt understood by it, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess we can start talking about Scott Hutchinson a little bit.
Okay.
He actually committed suicide in 2018. You know the song Floating in the Fourth? It's the next to last song.
Yeah, 13.
So the fourth is the River Forth. It runs by, I believe, it runs through Scotland, but that song's about, you know, walking out into the river and killing yourself, and that's where his body was found.
Whoa.
So it's very sad, and this was one of the few like celebrity deaths, which I mean he's pretty well known, that actually like hit me. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like he did all this and talked through everything he felt and put it into his work, and still like
wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that shit's heavy, dude.
Yeah.
And to have a song
specifically about that came out 10 years before.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. So was there any was it just mental health sort of?
I think he left a note, but it was I think that's probably the easiest way to do it, was to explain it as mental health. Like,
man,
he wasn't a happy guy. Very depressed,
he had a tweet the night he committed suicide that said, "Be so good to everyone you love, it's not a given. I'm so annoyed that it's not. I didn't live by that standard and it kills me. Please hug your loved ones." Followed by, "I'm away now, thanks."
Yeah.
Prior to his disappearance. Man.
Fuck.
That's so fucking crazy, man. That's the hard thing, man. Like some people, like we've talked about this on the podcast too, of like being vulnerable in your art, and kind of I don't know his situation. I don't know what happened. Plainly, I don't know a thing. But as like a musician who's struggled with that kind of shit, and when you put it out there, like I thought anyways that like some of that stuff writing, I was going to be like, oh, it's a weight lifted off my shoulders. And in some way it is, but ultimately it's still there, you know?
There. It doesn't fix it.
It doesn't fix it. And music can be an unhealthy codependency as a musician. That's why I always hate those like things that are like music is life. Like, yeah, music's really important, but it can also be unhealthy, and it can be an unhealthy coping mechanism to where it's like, well, I'll just write a song about it and I'll feel better. But then like you get done making a record and you're like, oh, I don't feel better, even though I laid it all out there, you know? But it's hard to describe what would be the feeling or direction you need to take in life in order to kind of work through that shit, you know? Because it is really hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've struggled with the same shit in the past, and it fucking sucks. And no, it's unfortunate that he lost that battle, you know?
Yeah.
But you see it all the time. I mean, it's fucking hard to go through that. And I could hear it in his voice. I know you had mentioned like he had committed suicide kind of briefly to me. Yeah. And when I hear like the lyrics and stuff, I'm like, man, like I kind of sympathize, because I was like, fuck, he just didn't make it, you know, like didn't work through that.
Yeah, it was a sad time.
Mm-hmm.
They did, a bunch of artists got together and made an album called Tiny Changes, a celebration of Fried Rabbit's The Midnight Organ Fight, where they cover the songs. And they got some big names on there. Josh Ritter, Winter Sleep, Sarah Silverman. I think it's the same Sarah Silverman. I don't know. Ben Gibbard, daughter, Julian Baker. I think I know who that is. And Manchester Orchestra.
Oh, that's right.
Did some songs for this. And some of them are very good. Some of them didn't feel super like inspired, like they like, especially compared to the original version. Like it's nothing. But I'm a big fan of Manchester Orchestra, so I liked theirs. And the daughter did a really great job. Ben Gibbard's is good. But
he's a guy from Death Cab. Yeah.
So, but because of what they sold this record and gave money to charity for mental health, some mental health organization. They established Tiny Changes, a mental health charity named after the lyric from the band song Heads Roll Off in memory of Scott. So they created an entire charity based on that.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah. So
that's good. Yeah.
That's really good. Which the lyrics for that, let me pull them up. It's like the end of Heads Roll Off, I think. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. While I'm alive, I'll make tiny changes to Earth. That's in the chorus, the end of the chorus. So the song there is talking about it's kind of talking about faith and belief and just like the world is like not good, but just do what you can kind of thing.
Yeah. I always, I remember being told that like towards the end of my like drinking and shit and doing all of that, like getting to that point of being suicidal and making that attempt, and being open about it afterwards. And it was like, that's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and it's hard to think, like understanding sometimes that mindset of like suicide is a selfish thing, but like I've been I never understood it for the longest time until I ended up in that position. And then I was like, I get it, but I actively have to choose to like work on that part of me. 'Cause when things get hard, I have a tendency to go that direction. Even still, like even since I've gotten sober, it's still, I have to be upfront and honest with myself about it.
Yeah. Me too. I've had, issues with depression and anxiety forever. Mm-hmm. And I'm medicated now, which helps quite a bit. Yeah. But like, dude, it's easy it doesn't take as much as most people think to get you to that point.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's genuinely been times, especially, towards the end of my drug and alcohol use, where I felt like that was genuinely the better solution. Like I was like, I'm not worth being around. I can't stand myself. The drugs and alcohol weren't fucking turning it off anymore. It was like, okay, now I'm drunk and now I'm even in a worse spot. I was like, nothing was working. That felt like the only solution. And, those feelings aren't fact necessarily, but then I think about, the friends I've had like pass from overdose, now, and at that time I wasn't honest with my alcoholism or my addiction issues, but like seeing that now as like a recovering alcoholic and addict, I was like, man, I wish they would have gotten better. I wish they would have like gotten sober and gotten clean and got their life together, because there is that way there. You can choose that way, or you can choose the other one. And that's where like that ended up for me, was like, if I keep doing this, I'm going to die. I'm going to have to go down the fucking road that I have no fucking idea what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But that's the only way I'm going to live, but it was the best decision I could have made, even though at times it does get hard. But it's like, I'm just fucking glad I'm not where I was. But like, you kind of rock bottoms when you stop digging, but it doesn't mean that I've like completely taken care of it and I've conquered it. It's like, I got to actively choose to take care of myself now, Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it fucking sucks, man, when like somebody goes out that way and they make an album. It just kind of goes to show, like, no matter how much success, no matter how much you make this shit, it's never going to make you happy. It's just not,
Success, money, all that's not going to fix you.
Yeah. Validation from other people, it's just not going to happen,
Which is great, because we don't have success or money. So it's good.
Yeah.
We're on the right track.
That is right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's and even reading the lyrics of like, I feel better. Mm-hmm. It's that back and forth I'm talking about, where he says, right here, I feel better and better and worse, and then better than ever, than ever, than, it's just like this, like better or worse. Down.
Yep.
And then kind of getting to the end, this is the last song I'll write about you. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I'm done. But like, because there's just this constant turmoil and battle within myself of like, going through that kind of shit,
And I don't remember where I read it, but I think I read that was the first song he wrote for the album.
Oh.
And then
he wrote a
bunch of, I don't know, and who knows if they're all about like the same person, or you don't know. But
it's usually, I don't know. I don't know how he liked to write, but it does sound, even on good arms versus bad arms, I decided this decision some 6 months ago, so I'll stick to my guns, but from now on it's war. I'm armed with the past and the will and a brick. I might not want you back, but I want to kill him.
Yeah, that's the line that always...
It's like...
Oh, I felt that before, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. You ever get cheated on? It feels a lot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then My Backwards Walk, I think, is another very good breakup song I'm working on. Because I'm working on My Backwards Walk, then I'm working on My Faults and Cracks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on drawing a straight line between you and me. I'm working on erasing you, but I can't, essentially. And I'm working on Walking Out, but I can't. Then I'm working on My Backwards Walk again. And then the line at the end, the ending is you're the shit and I'm knee deep in it, which is great.
Yeah, that's a great line.
Such a good line.
So how do you feel listening to this album now, since it meant so much to you at that time?
At that time, I feel good now. At the time, it just like it almost. I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh yeah, this record saved me, but no, it like kind of helped me through it because I didn't want to listen to like happy music at the time, and I got really into this band, and I don't know. Now it's more I'm just sad because Scott died.
Yeah.
That's more what it feels like to me.
But, and I think there is that comforting thing, especially with music of like listening to an album, you're like, oh shit, I'm not the only person who's had to go through this kind of shit. You know, there's other people who've,
I was also quite a bit younger when I went through this, so it's.
So did you listen to it when it came out, or was it?
No, it was like probably 3 or 4 years after that.
Oh, so like 2012ish.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Early 20s. That's fair.
I was like...
It's also recorded in Connecticut. Did you see that?
Weird. No, I didn't see that.
Tarquin Studios, produced by Peter Caddis.
Who
has done a bunch of stuff. I didn't know if you'd recognize that name or not, but he did like Death Cab stuff.
National.
Gang of Youths. Interpol National, yeah. So they traveled all the way to the States to record this, which was...
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is.
Language, Scottish English.
Yeah, you could
consider that a separate language?
I guess if they're like English forward, I suppose.
Huh.
Then like having that, because it's not like it's a noticeable accent, but it's not like thick Scottish accent.
Yeah, I mean, you can understand this album. Like
100%.
Gotta be honest, the first time I watched Trainspotting, I needed subtitles. Like, it's very hard to understand.
I've never seen that movie. I've always wanted to watch it. We should watch it sometime. Yeah, we should. Yeah, so overall on this album, I mean, did you have anything?
I don't think I had too much more to say.
It's a good breakup album. If you've been hurt by a breakup,
this is
listen
like,
to this.
To me, I hear the words breakup album, this is what comes to mind.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah. It's very, I immediately related. If you've ever been in a relationship and broken up with somebody, you'll feel related to on this album.
Yeah.
Especially you've been in a few bad relationships, I think, too.
Yeah.
So it is a really honest, open record.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a weird, like, melancholy kind of feels good. Like getting over a breakup, but you're still pissed off, you know?
Definitely.
Like, you're kind of working through that, you're kind of getting over like the heartbreak and you're just kind of like, fuck you, you know? So it kind of has that feeling. This is a good, it felt like a very good springtime album to me.
Springtime. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of here. It's been nice today.
Almost in springtime.
But it kind of was like, I was driving again to Arc City and was listening to it and I was like, this is nice, And it's a good album to listen to the lyrics. And the instrumentation is really good. Also, would like to mention that. The guitar playing is really awesome.
Yeah.
And the drumming is fucking fantastic.
And they don't do a ton of, like, processing with the guitars or anything.
Absolutely not.
A lot of it's very straightforward. Yeah. And I think they did that on purpose. I heard some interview with him where he talks about, he's like, I didn't just want to use a bunch of pedals and stuff. I wanted to just explore the guitar and make sounds with it. Did you watch any of his live videos at all?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I like watching just him playing because the songs. A lot of bands you hear them play like an acoustic song, like just with the lead singer or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just feels really empty.
Yeah.
It's not this guy. He gets it and like fills the whole space with the song. I feel
that's
like.
cool.
So
and does he use other instrumentation with it, or does
he might in some, but most of them it's just him and a guitar, and he just like
manages to fill
makes
it
it work really well.
So, huh?
Yeah, I like to check those out. We didn't talk about the title of the album really.
No, it's a lyric.
It is a lyric.
Yeah,
just means sex. Just smashing your organs together. Yeah, lyric in Fast Blood, I think.
Yeah, yep. It does. Yep. Euphemism for sex.
Yep.
Wow. Fascinating. 2008.
It's a very sexual album, surprisingly.
It is.
For being as sad as it is and stuff, like
It is. It is a lot of euphemisms.
But yeah,
a lot of straightforwardness.
If you're into bands like Death Cab or even Manchester Orchestra, I'd say a lot of those what we found out is like a lot of those types of artists were listening to this.
Yeah,
they liked this album enough to like. They all wrote things about it. Hayley Williams did.
She's a star again.
She's a star again.
Now.
Yeah, I haven't listened to any of their new record.
It's good pop music for sure. Pop music. I actually I like the new Paramore stuff.
I just haven't gotten to it. So.
Yeah.
I wasn't crazy about their last record, but that's not this episode. So. But yeah.
But yeah. I would give it out of organs. Out of livers.
Fighting organs.
I'd give it a fucking I'd give it a fucking. I give it a 4 out of 5 not going through a breakup. I give it a 5 out of 5 going through a breakup.
I think I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah. If you're going through a breakup, this shit will fucking ring true.
Damn, like it hit hard.
Yeah. I wish I had this album during a breakup, you know?
Well,
hopefully I don't have to deal with that.
Sabotage your relationship if you want.
Yeah. Fuck.
Just kidding, Kylie. Don't
kidding.
Don't hit me.
No, Kylie. I still need your wardrobe for the show. So.
But
all right, so we agree on the ranking. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what you think if you've ever listened to Frightened Rabbit, Midnight Organ Fight. Good breakup album. Yeah. But listen to it even if you're not going through a breakup. And
the rest of the albums are also excellent. So if you like this one, you'll like those too.
Yeah. So the next episode is another breakup album that when I think breakup album, I think of this one. And it is Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. I think we kind of mentioned it in the last episode anyways. But this is the album I think is the epitome of a fucking breakup album. And I love it greatly. So we are going to do that one next week. And we will see y'all next week. We're going to have a kind of Earswap Clips channel coming up here soon where you can see little clips from each episode. And that'll be starting here.
It's some algorithm thing. I don't understand it. So,
but we're going to have it up here soon. So you'll kind of see some stuff redirected and all that and some kind of reformatting. So we're figuring out the show as we go along.
Yes.
And thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
And
catch us next week where we're sitting in the exact same position in the same clothing.
You betcha.
Goodbye.
See you next week.
Gigi Allen escorted off We Are the World music video sound just putting blood on Dan Aykroyd. I should probably piss before we start recording.
I pooped earlier. Hopefully it doesn't smell bad. It was one of those those tacky poops.
Eee.
Man, those suck.